Sorry for the slight delay. Okay, we continue in Maharal. I did not get a chance to put it in the description for this class, but you see the link on the screen over here if you want to follow along. This will open the page that we're holding at. Now, I do want to just recap something that we said yesterday and put it in perspective. Animals have their special one thing that drives them because animals are kind of monolithic. Every animal has their particular one big midah that drives them. I believe we discussed this earlier in this forum. Famous mission of us, be az kanamer ras katzvi gibor kari, be brazen like the tiger, which we're about to learn about, right? And swift like the deer, and light like the eagle, and mighty like the lion. A man has to have all good midos, right? And preferably in the proper configuration. Animals have each one. So this one person should learn from the tiger and from the eagle and from the deer and from the lion, that he has to take the best of all them to do Ratzon Aviv Shabbat. So animals are, as it were, specialists. Humans are supposed to have all of the good midos. And the downside is we can easily have all of the bad midos also. So now you get it, that when Nebuchadnezzar sees all the four evil empires integrated into one pseudo-man, it's between all of them together that they make up one man, right? But when Daniel sees the nations separately, Binocle sees them as animals, right? So not just because they're animals relative to us, and they only begin to compete with us when they're all together in one integrated unit, which we're going to discuss further shortly. All right, especially when we get to what Esav does, how he tries to assemble Edom tries to assemble all the nations into a pseudo man to compete with Am Yisrael, but there can only be the pseudo man that competes with the real man. When it's all them together. But as a part, they're animals, not just because we're a human and they're animals relative to us, but also separate. Each one is in their own. They have their one outstanding midah, like every animal has its one outstanding midah. So therefore, I want to clarify with this. First of all, this was a valuable thing to clarify anyways, right? But I want to clarify with this something that we began saying yesterday, that the Maharal points out that in the integrated man, we're talking about a unrefined man, right? Your average John Q. public. The thing that drives him the most is his passions, which is the nefesh. Secondary, what drives him? His secondary drive is, his body. He needs his food. He needs his rest. He needs his bodily needs is the second driver, secondary driver. And the last is, the intellect. As we pointed out, very sadly, the intellect is not what moves people. It's not a mover of people. If anything, the intellect is enslaved to find rationalizations and ways to fulfill the passions and to fulfill the bodily needs. But that's in the integrated unit. But we said the nations of the world onto their own, they're like separate forces, right? So Bavel, right? Nebuchadnezzar is parallel to the nefesh, the passions, the emotions. Paras and Madai, which was the bear, the eater, just a pure body. And the body is a taker, like I say. And now Yavan is Keneged the Seichel, right? The intellect. Now, that's indeed what drives Yavan, because it's their one and only outstanding midah. That's in that area they are remarkable, and they're totally unremarkable in the other areas, that Bavel and Madai and Paras specialized in. All right, so of course, intellect drives Yavan because it's the one thing they have. In the integrated man, the seichel is not the main driver. When he has all these three different forces all together, the intellect is at the bottom of the heap as far as being the main driver of the person. But Yavan is only intellect. It's an animal that's only intellect. What that has to do with the brazenness of the tiger, we're about to explain. That's why I wanted to clarify. Okay? But the point that we left off with, and with this we were in Daf Yud Beis, right, in the standard edition that most of us grew up on. Right? Yavan is driven by intellect, but human intellect, right? And they're insanely jealous of the Jewish people that have divine intellect, the Torah. So the Torah they're not going to have. God's not going to give them the Torah. So they just, what do they want to do? What a jealous person really always wants. He just doesn't want the other guy to have what he doesn't. So they try to take the Torah away from us. They wanted to annul the Torah. And the Beis HaMikdash, as we're going to learn, that represents our high spiritual level in space. So they wanted to defile the Beis HaMikdash, and they wanted to annul the Torah, that we should not have this divine intellect that they're insanely jealous of, and they know they can never have. So now we start at the very top of Amud Yud Beis. V'kachar mentions what we say in Medrash Eichel Rabbah Machev V'Sor Bagem En Torah. Right, that the pasuk literally means that we, our kings and our courtiers, our officers, we are stuck amongst the goyim without Torah. Right, stuck amongst the goyim without Torah. Right, so now. The Medrash says, Bagoyim, read it, Bagoyim ain't Torah. In the Goyim, there is no Torah. Right? If a person tells you, listen, the Goyim, they have wisdom, you can believe him. Right? As it says in Ovadia, it's interesting that the example comes from Edom because they incorporated, as we're going to learn, they incorporated the intellect of Greece into them, as we will learn. So it says, and I will obliterate the wise men from Edom and understanding from the mountain of Esav, right? So if Hashem will take it away from them, means that they had it. They had Chokhmah, right? Yesh Pergon, if they tell you that there is Torah amongst the Goyim out, I would never believe the Chsiv, as it says, Machev V'Sor Bagoyim Ein Torah. So read it, Bagoyim Ein Torah, right? They don't have Torah. So they have wisdom, they don't have Torah. I guess it applies even in this day and age. If someone would show you in the Quran, doubtful, but let's say theoretically, show you the Quran something wise, right? Or it'll show you, the Christians will show you in their Bible something, it's wisdom. So if it makes sense and it sits well with you, it's wisdom, it's not Torah. So the wisdom they have, Torah they don't, right? Right? So now the Greeks were insane because they're goyim, they can't have Torah. There's no Torah by goyim. Right? They were insanely jealous of Am Yisrael for having the Torah that they can never have. Which means that I'm going to further explain. This rebel is so dumb and number. Right? So now that's why Daniel sees this third kingdom. It is similar to a tiger. Now, the tiger is brazen, and that's as the Mishnah of Yehuda ben Tema that we just mentioned. Now, the Maharal refers to it also here. To be brazen like the tiger. So right? Brazenness is actually directly related to the pursuit of wisdom. Because Chazal write elsewhere, law of Baishalamit, the person who's ashamed will never learn. Because if you're ashamed to get out of your comfort zone, you're afraid to ask. You're afraid to, so you're going to stay with whatever knowledge you have. The brazen one, he breaks the comfort zone. He is not afraid to ask and challenge and get answers. So brazenness, is actually a meter that's required to attain wisdom, to get out of your comfort zone and learn new things, demand answers, right? Lekach midas Yisrael, he asks Rosham b'seches beitza, kitanish beider me'er b'nei azin, right? right? And that's also, everyone knows, I mean, it generally comes out by Israelis who are just so ethnically Jewish, right? But the Jewish people in general are azin. We're chutzpahdik. We are chutzpahdik. We are a brazen people. We are. Like I said, for some reason, culturally, it's mostly associated with Israelis, who I guess are the most ethnically oriented Jews living in our homeland, also our biblical homeland. Right? We're brazen, so that actually makes us good for the Torah. And the chutzpahdik kids, the teachers may suffer from them, but they're the best. They're the ones who become the biggest Talmidei Chacham. And the Chovos HaTalmidim points that out, and he brings it from the Balatanya. Yeah. So even though the teachers, they like the Baishanim who don't challenge them, but it's the brazen ones who challenge them and make their lives hell that only become the big lamdonim. Yeah. Anyway, and don't get me started on this. Kosher says, as it says, why was Torah given to Am? So because we are full of brazenness, right? Full of chutzpah. Time to be Rabbi Shmuel, and they learned to the yeshiva of Rabbi Shmuel. Mimino eish Thomas Lamo. The Torah is called a fire of, a law of fire. Fire. Das eish. These people should get a law of fire, right? Dasem shel elu eish, right? The laws of Klai. So first of all, we're brazen. Chutzpah comes from the midah of eish, gevura, right? So we are befitting to have a law of fire, but then another way of wording it that it says over there, right? Ikad Amri, right? Datev Sheo Eish. The law of these people of Am Yisrael is fire. Right? Maybe because the Torah, as it were, the Torah purifies us because it actually purifies and elevates our brazenness, because if not, we would have been the wildest people. Torah actually tames us. Right? Torah actually tames us. Otherwise, we would be the terror of all the nations in the world. Not just that they hate us, which we are their terror, spiritually speaking, but we'd be actually their military terror also. All right. This is what Rish Lakish said. Gimel Azinain. There are three brazen creatures, and amongst the nations, Yisrael Bumas. We are the brazen nation amongst all the nations. Right? We are brazen people, and also the Torah is a Torah of fire. That's where brazenness comes from the emotional fire, from the midah of gevura, right? And that's why we're a good shidduch for Torah, and also since we're a good shidduch for Torah, that's why the Torah refines us. And if not, we'd have had unrefined brazenness, would have been the terror of all mankind, right? V'da, and you should know, right? To go deeper into this, right? Physicality is not a mover; it's moved. That's the flesh is weak and lazy, right? So we are moved. We have to get hungry before we actually do something about getting food. We have to be pushed around. We have to be in pain before we actually get up and do anything. So it's called we're mitpal. We need to be influenced in order to be prompted into action. Right, and therefore, if people are not naturally brazen. Brazen is to take initiative. I'm not going to be told what to do or forced to do anything. I'm going to take initiative, do what I want. That's not being a mitpael. That you're influenced and you are stimulated by something else to do that. Hey, you take initiative. You are self-propelling, right? Which actually goes against the nature of physicality. Physicality is lazy and just needs to be pushed. The one with Azus is, self-propelling. Right? Because we saw now that sort of the Maharal venture say that it's kind of cause and effect. We may have had a tendency towards being brazen, but also it goes the other way around also. The Torah gives us a good type of brazenness also. The Torah, which is divine, which is proactive, because physicality is reactive. The spiritual is proactive. The Torah the Torah actually gives us a certain level of chutzpah in a spiritually beneficial sense. Okay? We explain this in a few places. The Maharal has a few entries on this, in the footnotes, so I'll give you a few of them. So now our as it were would be competition amongst the nations of the world for wisdom and hence brazenness is the nation of Yavan, Greece. And that's why Daniel sees him as the tiger, which is brazen, because brazenness goes together with the relentless pursuit of wisdom. Right? Lefikach. That's why they were obsessed with us having a Torah that they don't have. So one of their kings, from the Greco-Egyptian branch of the Greek Empire, it splintered after Alexander the Great. So the Egyptian branch, Ptolemy, Amalek, right? They demanded even before the story of Hanukkah that we translate the Torah into Greek. Because we go as Morgan McGill says, Daf Tesson Beis, Vav Kivarin Luma Zos Chelk Bator, Kmo Shamarnu, Kmo Bishul Tov Lema Torah. B'Lashon Shem. Zor Mor Shachach Mashachem B'Yosef Shar Umas. Right. So now, even though it was really an exercise in futility, because having the Torah in Greek doesn't mean now they have Torah, because the Torah is ours, and they'll never understand it the way we understand it, because there's no way they could get the Torah Shabbal Peh on it. All that happened really was harm, because the Septuagint, the Targum HaShivim, later on became the basis for Christianity and Islam. So only harm came from it, not anything good. Right? But they were trying. They were trying to get the Torah, right? And of course, now no other nation tried to get the Torah. So that's in a certain way, that's to the Greeks' credit that they're in the relentless pursuit of wisdom, but they tried to get what they can't have. But the fact that they are, in the relentless pursuit of wisdom, that actually makes a halachic reality, not just, explain the reality that they, no other nation wants us to translate our Torah for them. This was the Greek hang up, their particular obsession, not. But also makes a halachic reality the fact that this nation is, as it were, not a close second, but in second place as far as the pursuit of wisdom. Right? Noach blessed Yefes, give beauty to Yefet, and he will dwell in the tents of shame. Give beauty to Yefes, and he will dwell in the tents of shame. Right? And Chazal say, the beauty of Yefes, from which Greece came from, should be in the tents of shame, which is where the Jewish people came from. Right? The beauty of Yefes, and the greatest beauty that they have is that supposedly Greek is a beautiful language, right? And it should be Baalei Shem, right? Ki mutar lios Torah b'lashon shelahem, because at least according to Shimon Gamliel, we are allowed to write the scriptures in Greek also, not just in Hebrew, and we'll have a din of Kisvei HaKodesh. Right now, of course, that's supposed to be just a one-way street. We could put our Torah into Greek also, but they tried to take advantage of that reality and use as a two-way street as a way to grab our Torah. But they can't take our Torah away, and that's actually meduyak, right? Is very well inferred. Yishlon B'olei Shem, Yefet, the beauty of Yefet has to stay in the tent of Shem. He can't take it out. So we can accept converts, or we can use their language for our Torah. We have their beauty in our tent, but they can't take it out of our tent. They tried to use the fact that there's a certain entry granted to them as a way to come in and steal, right? And that they can't do. But that's what they wanted to do. Because of this, because again, right, they are a close second. I'm not a close second. They are They are distant, but nonetheless second place to Am Yisrael as far as wisdom, which is what allows the Torah to be put into Yevonis for us, not for them. But because of that closeness that they have, they are jealous of us, because you're only jealous of someone who's in the same league as you. A minor leaguer is not jealous of a major leaguer. Not in the same league. Jealousy comes from competition. Competition is only if heavyweight is jealous of another heavyweight. A lightweight is not jealous of a heavyweight. Different league, right? Fireman's not jealous of a policeman, right? It has to be. People are only jealous of someone who is like him, in the same league as him. So since we're on the same league, on the same line, maybe you're taking away from me. If you're on a totally different line, why should I be jealous of you? So we're on the wisdom line. They're jealous of us, right? Because of their closeness to wisdom, that makes them jealous of us. But jealousy has its consequences, that you don't want the person that you're jealous of to have what he has. Because of their closeness on the wisdom scale, that makes them jealous of our wisdom, and jealous if you can't beat them, you want to take away their advantage from you. So therefore, they wanted to destroy the Torah from us, take the Torah from us. So now going back to Daniel's vision, this animal, right, the third animal, represents the tiger, which represents had 4 wings, not just 2, 4 wings. Right? 4 wings, meaning it spreads to the 4 corners of the earth, because wisdom is not something physical. The physical is contained within space. Wisdom is everywhere. Information is everywhere. It's not contained in a particular place, right? So wisdom, they're in the pursuit of wisdom. Wisdom is everywhere. They were in the pursuit of wisdom. Also, their empire spread everywhere, parallel to the wisdom, but spreads to all 4 corners of the earth, because it's not something physical that's contained in a definite point in space. It just spreads everywhere. Wisdom is everywhere, and wisdom spreads everywhere, right? Right. And therefore it says regarding this nation, it's going to reign over the whole world, because this nation has wisdom. Wisdom spreads, information spreads. Right? Because that's how, intellect is not contained within space. It naturally spreads to anyone who's willing to receive it. Right? Because they had the meat of intelligence, and intelligence spreads, that's because that they spread throughout the world. And that's also, it was very interesting, because when they spread, they were trying to Hellenize the whole world. They were spreading their culture. So mamish, their geopolitical spread was very parallel to their midah of wisdom, because they were not just militarily expanding and enslaving other places, they were Hellenizing them. They were spreading their culture throughout the world. They want to Hellenize the world, right? As you see how their expansion was like perfectly in line with the midah of wisdom that was driving them, and they were trying to spread Hellenism throughout the world. So it wasn't just a pragmatic military expansion, it was the expansion of their culture that they viewed as intellectually superior, and they're spreading the intellect everywhere, because intellect spreads everywhere. So their spread across the globe was running perfectly parallel to how intellect spreads. Lokach. So therefore, they were just purely jealous of our divine wisdom, because wisdom is the most refined thing in the physical world, but it's still not divine. There's nothing divine about biology, chemistry, and physics, or even philosophy. These are all, this is earthly wisdom. We have heavenly wisdom. And they just couldn't. They were just insanely jealous that we have the wisdom that they can't have. So they just wanted, when you're jealous of a person, if you can't be better than him, so you just want him to lose what the advantage that he has over you. So that's what they tried to. They didn't want to make a Holocaust on the Jewish people. They just wanted to Hellenize the Jewish people and to annul from us all our divine levels that they don't have. Right? The Zohar Medrash, and this goes back to to what it says in the Medrash. There's a Medrash also darshans the 4 rivers that came out of Eden, also again parallel to the 4 evil empires. But now and the 3rd river, right, that came out of Eden, which is parallel to the 3rd empire, which is Greece. It was called Chideko Zu Yavan. This was Yavan, Greece, that was sharp and swift with its evil decrees al Yisrael that they decreed on Am Yisrael and told Kiswa Karen Ashar Shan Yisrael Chelak. Okay, so one of their sick decrees that they decreed upon us, where they had control over Israel, the land of Israel, was that we should engrave on a horn of a ox. Am Yisrael has nothing to do with the God of Israel. And now why they choose the horn of an ox and why they choose, you have nothing to do with God. Am Yisrael has nothing to do with the God of Israel. All right, so part of it is already self-apparent. Right, self-apparent is that we say we're connected to the divine and in a manner that they could never hope to imitate, let alone really have. So okay, but why on the horn of an ox? That we will do the next time we learn. Thank you very much. Everyone have a great day.